We're joined now by the Republican governor of New Hampshire, Sununu. Governor, thank you for joining us this morning. You know, you cruised to a 15-point victory on Tuesday, yet your Republican Senate candidate, Dan Baldock, lost by almost 10 points. How do you explain that?
Well, again, I think we've been talking a lot about it this week. Candidate quality matters. You know, there's a sense of extremism that I think a lot of Republicans were painted with, rightfully or not. You know, when you have a product, you can't let the other side define you, right? And that's what campaigns are. It's a product of good ideas and what you want to bring to the table. And ultimately, I think the Democrats did a very good job of defining a lot of these candidates before they even had a chance to introduce themselves. And then, obviously, you have all this other national stuff happening that I think scared a lot of folks, this extremism that's out there. And that's what this was. This was just a rejection of that extremism. I don't think anyone likes the policies out of D.C. No one likes paying, you know, $6 for a gallon of heating oil, especially with winter coming. But what I think people said was, look, we can work on these policies later, but as Americans, we got to fix extremism right now. And I think that's exactly what you saw.
Well, congratulations on your victory. By extremism, do you mean the politics espoused by Donald Trump?
Oh, that's just, no, you know, I know the media likes to do the pro and anti-Trump stuff. It's not just about Donald Trump, right? It's not, there's a whole stream of things out there that can be deemed extreme on one side and the other. I think there's an extreme left and an extreme right. In this sense, I think a lot of folks were really focused, are saying, look, it's not about payback. It's about solving problems, right? And there was talk like that. It's not about, you know, nationalizing abortion and bans and all this kind of stuff. There was talk like that. That just scared people. And you know, the attack on Mr. Pelosi, and I mean, those types of things got people's, you know, angst up, and they said, look, enough of this. We have to start putting in folks that are definitely going to come together and work across the aisle. You know, if you go, it's not new, right? Let's go back to the 2020 election. Joe Biden was the most moderate of all the candidates running on the Democrat side. He was deemed the most moderate of both he and Donald Trump. So America's been asking for more moderation for quite some time. There's just, you know, certain parts of the Republican Party that haven't listened so well. We just got to get back to basics. It's not unfixable. We just got to get back to basics.
Well, one of those issues is getting back to basics and perhaps looking to the future. One of the things we saw across the country is governors who denied the election results in 2020, Secretary of State candidates who denied the election results of 2020, lost this time around. Does the Republican Party have to put away that election denialism once and for all?
Well, I think we had to do that back in, like, on November 10th of 2020. I mean, that's just, we should have been moving on from that stuff immediately. So clearly it is not a good strategy. It's nothing that works. Sure, it taps into an extreme base and a fire that's there with some folks. But at the end of the day, you can't govern if you don't win. And all that matters is winning in November. And so a lot of these candidates, I think, forgot that. I think they went way too far right in some of their primaries. I think they let the media, they let the other side define them. Let's not forget, Democrats put millions behind Don Bolduc's campaign. Republican extremist Don Bolduc here in New Hampshire. Democrats put money in his campaign in the primary. Think about that for a second. To make sure that he got through, and he made it by about 1,000 votes through that primary. So I think that's a complete manipulation of the process, to be sure. But there was a lot of work on that side to define these candidates, to make sure they were the ones they were running against, and they were successful.
A lot of Republicans think that you all would have won that Senate seat had you chosen to run. Any regrets?
No, because I love being governor. Look, with all due respect, the Senate's the B team compared to being a governor. I mean, it's just not even a question. Look, I get to be the CEO. I get to design systems. I get to implement policy. I get to challenge myself to engage with constituents, find their problems, and fight those barriers. Congress has a very important purpose. Do not get me wrong. But they approve of a policy. They approve of some funding. And then they kind of go on to the next thing. I'm an engineer. I want to design systems, create better solutions. Governors, mayors, those of us that are on the ground at the local level, which is why local politics, not Washington politics, local solutions really work best. I love being a part of that.
I know you say the media loves to talk about Donald Trump, and perhaps that's fair, but it's not just the media, it's Donald Trump himself, and he's planning to announce for president on Tuesday. Is that a good idea?
For him, no. I think it's a terrible idea for him. Look, from just a purely political standpoint, we still don't know what's going to happen in Georgia. The votes are still being counted in Nevada and Arizona.
Oh, no.
By the way,
Nevada and Arizona went Democrat. Yeah. Nevada and Arizona
the governor's race is undecided.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah,
In
the
Arizona,
governor's race in
yes.
Arizona is still undecided. Yep, only about 80 or 90% in, so we'll see where that goes. But look, people want to move away from politics as you hit Thanksgiving, as you hit Christmas, as we're spending time with families, as we're trying to figure out how we're going to fill our oil tanks with all these high fuel prices. So now's just a horrible time for big political statements. Save that for early 23 would be my message. But either way, it doesn't really matter. It's going to be great for the media. Saturday Night Live, we'll probably love it. But for the rest of us, we're going to focus on spending time with our families and kind of taking a breath in the quiet of a non-political world. Let's get back to ad nauseum car commercials and pharmaceutical commercials, because that's because the negative political ads have all just driven us crazy.
Yeah, those pay my salary, but can you see any circumstance by which you would support Donald Trump in 2024?
Look, I think there's just not really, because I think there's going to be a lot of great candidates out there. I'm excited to see who runs for president on both sides. I don't think Joe Biden's running. I think it's going to be a wide open race on the Republican side. I think everybody who wants to get in is going to get in. That's a good thing. That's a great thing. You see new ideas. They're going to be out there as kind of the referee of the first in the nation primary here in New Hampshire. I take that a lot of responsibility. We have a lot of fun with it, to be sure, but we also hold them to a whole different standard than the rest of the country. You got to come in. We got to buy into you as a person, right? We got to look you in the eye and buy into you as an individual before we even touch policy here. And that's why grassroots retail politics, constituent service, connection with the individual really does matter in a place like New Hampshire. It's going to be a lot of fun.
You said referee. You'd be the front runner in New Hampshire if you decided to run for president.
Well, maybe, I suppose. I don't know. A lot of folks are talking about that. But look, I got a state to run. Unlike Congress, I don't get vacation. It's a 24/7 job, 365. Unlike Congress, I have to balance a budget in the next couple of months. Unlike Congress, I just have a lot of demands on me, and I love that. It's a hard job, but man, it is so fulfilling when you get stuff done. So I guess that leading by example, and given where New Hampshire is, we've been very successful in a lot of areas. I've got to make sure we continue to lead by example. So when folks come in here, they know there is a whole new standard of accountability in terms of what you're going to deliver as a public servant.
Governor Sununu, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you, buddy.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.